The line is now coming very, very close, and I'm practically almost on top of them, and that tractor's, although some of them, as you can hear, are right underneath. Well, look, it's truly a magnificent sight.
In 1924, a newspaper article attempted to convince farmers to get rid of their horses. It advised that in the improvement of the conditions of farm life and labour, there is no more potent factor than the tractor. The message was adamant: be wise, tractorise. Articles, performance statistics and testimonials clearly demonstrated increased productivity when tractors and power machinery were employed. Regardless of this overwhelming evidence, to many farmers the tractor was nothing more than a sideshow entertainment and certainly wouldn't last. After all, they'd heard it all before. Steam tractors were supposed to be the next best thing. In fact, they compacted the soil so badly it couldn't be ploughed, so an elaborate and cumbersome cable system was developed. Here, it's being demonstrated at the Werribee Research Farm using 2 Fowler engines and a 2-way balanced plough. In the first few decades of the 20th century, this self-propelling nonsense was little more than a novelty. Motor vehicles on farms were rare, and farmers were simply not motor-minded. Horses could do everything that was required to run a good farm.
Thank you. Here now, go on, great. Yeah.
And so, farmers remained faithful to their animals. The perception was that horses were easier to handle and certainly cheaper to run. They didn't require expensive fuels, spare parts or costly maintenance. And horses could do something that tractors certainly couldn't. They reproduced themselves, thus always ensuring a steady source of horsepower. Horses were a part of the family, and the bond with them was based on trust and love. Out in the paddocks, they were more than just equipment, they were company. To transfer this bond to a piece of metal was unthinkable. But it wasn't simply sentiment that stopped farmers. The cost to set up for power was a prime issue. Not only was there the initial outlay, but all implements were built for attachment by harness to horse. To convert to the tractor would mean more money on new implements or conversions of old to work with power. While the tractor struggled for acceptance in agriculture, mechanisation in industrial work was readily welcomed, from the big steam shovels used in quarry work to the steam tractors used for hauling. Although the Australian tractor population gradually increased, it took 50 years to accept the economy of the tractor. And in those years, names like Howard, Ferguson, Chamberlain and Fordson replaced the horse and became as familiar as the alphabet.
In the new Fordson Major, farmers get more farm-right features than in any other tractor. Despite this, the new Fordson Major prices are surprisingly low. £918 for the kerosene model and only £1,077 for the diesel model.